Hello and welcome to our openSAP course on SAP Cloud Application Studio for SAP Business by Design, Week 3, Unit 5, Process Extension Scenarios. My name is Babu and I shall guide you through this unit. We will continue in this unit with some more flavors of extensibility capabilities in Cloud Application Studio. So far, we have seen that an extension field created for a BO is used on the entities of the same object. However, customers do require these extensions to be passed from one business context to another. This can be achieved through process extension scenario, which is the topic for this unit. A brief overview on process extension scenarios first. A process extension scenario connects one business context to another. You can create process extension scenario from a list of predefined extension scenarios delivered by SAP Business by Design. For example, you can create an extension scenario that links the purchase order route data to the supplier invoice route data. Each extension scenario consists of a source and target business object. The extension field value on the source business object node flows to the target business object node through the process extension scenario. The process extension scenarios are specific to the node for which they are created. If an extension scenario was created for the root node, then it can only be called at the root node within the XBO. Similarly, a process extension scenario created for the item node can only be called from the item node within the XBO. For every extension field you want to pass from one business context to another, annotate this element with scenario and specify the name of the scenario in which it should flow. You can also pass the extension field through B2B messages and the web services as well. Okay. In this unit, I will cover two examples of process extensions. First, pass an extension field defined on one business object to another business object in the process. This is very often a case that you extend a BO and you would like the field to be available automatically in the documents that are created as a part of the business process. To do so, first you need to define a process extension scenario, which is a .xs file in the solution, and select the process leading to the target BO. These processes are predefined by SAP and hence you can only select from the available list. In case the process related to your scenario is not defined, you can place a request to SAP. Later, SAP will do the evaluation and decide on it. Annotate the element with the scenario word so that it can participate in the process extension. The second use case would be when you like to have your web service or B2B messages extended. SAP provides standard web services which can be extended by the partners. This means that you can query the documents based on user or partner defined fields. You can also create and update extension fields in the document using web services. So, let us move to the system and work on these two scenarios. Going to our use case, user story, the accountant who books the invoice wants to know why the invoice is being raised. If the invoice shows job ID field filled, then he or she can understand this is a purchase for a new hired employee. So, we need to pass the extension field job ID from purchase order to the supplier invoice. Let us jump into the system and see how we do it. Okay. So, first we will create a process extension scenario on this add-on, which is leading from the purchase order. So, right click on add new item and select extension and process extension scenario with a .xs extension. Provide it a name, I will call it purchase order ext and add it. Now, I have to select the name of the business object, for which first I go to namespace, provide the name of the BO and also the node. As I mentioned, the node is important. So, we will do the extension right from the purchase order root node, and these are the list of available extension scenarios from SAP. So, I will select purchase order route to supplier invoice route, and the second I will select is the query on purchase order, which is also used in the web service. So, I will select the query purchase orders extension scenario as well. Click on OK and my .xs file will have these two scenarios created in them. So, now we will add the extension field to the process extension scenario. So, my job ID field is the field which should participate in the extension scenario. So, I will annotate it with the label with the scenario word. So, I will mention the scenario and the name of the scenario that I just created, which is purchase order ext. After doing this, we would be done with the changes in the XBO. We will have to save and activate those changes. Okay. So, now we already know the job ID field is available on purchase order. We will have to add it now to the supplier invoice. So, let us add an XBO for supplier invoice. So, I will select business object extension and create an XBO for supplier invoice. Let us call it supplier invoice, and select the namespace for supplier invoice, which is supplier invoicing, and the business object is supplier invoice. Click OK. The XBO should be there in a moment. Yeah. So, the XBO is there. We will now right click and we will activate it. Okay, let us activate. Once it is activated, we will then enhance the supplier invoice, one of the screens of the supplier invoice. So, right click on it and say enhance screen. We will select a simple QF screen of supplier invoice, which is SIV QF create echo, which is a quick activity. Click OK. The UI designer will launch and the screen will be loaded in it. Okay, as usual this pop up and we say OK, jump into the screen in a short time. Okay. So, we will add the field in the general information section group. Here I select the anchor and click add extension field to the section group, and I can see the job ID is now visible here. Click on apply, which will then apply the changes. The change transaction is created. You have to save and activate. Once the change transaction is activated, we are good to go and check whether the field is flowing from purchase order to invoice or not. So, let us jump into the system business by design system and see. I have a purchase order 835. I will quickly order this purchase order so that it is possible to create an invoice for the same. In this purchase order, I have a job ID which has a value PT-12. So, let us order this purchase order. Okay, in a while it will be ordered, and then we can go to the supplier invoicing view to the invoice entry, so that this purchase order is there for invoicing. So, remember the purchase order number 835, click enter, and yes, new invoice. Let the screen load and hopefully we will see the job ID. As you can see, the job ID value is filled there with PT12. So, this is how the field flows from one BO to the other BO. Let us do the second scenario to extend the purchase order query with field job ID on the purchase order OWL and in the web service, as the purchaser wish to find the purchase orders created for a certain job ID. We will extend the query for purchase order in standard solution and see how it extends the web service for the same. Let us jump into the demo for that. So, we are in the system here and we will now enhance the screen for purchase order OWL. So, right click on the purchase order XBO, enhance screen, and I will select the OWL screen, which is PO OWL QRN object work list, say OK, and it will take a while to load the screen in the UI designer. Once it is loaded, we will add the job ID field in the purchase order OWL advanced search query parameter. So, good to go. I will select the query all purchase orders and expand my advanced search section. Here I will see the two sections. On the right hand side, I have one section group where I will add the extension field. So, I will add the job ID so that it is available as a query parameter for me. let us activate and wait for it. Once it is activated, we will be able to see it on the UI. Let us jump onto the UI now and see the advanced search for purchase orders. And since it is enhanced in the query, the same query is used in the web service. So, web service should also be enhanced. So, in the advanced search, you can see the job ID field is now there, and I can enter a job ID value and check whether the query works, and see, of course, once I enter, I get 3 results. These are the purchase orders that were created with the same job ID. So, that was how the purchase order query was extended. Now, let us jump how to see whether the web service was extended or not. So, where we go to the service explorer view, where we can see all the web services existing in the system, and select the query web service for the purchase order. So, let me type query star purchase star. With this, I can find the query web service. I will download the WSDL of this web service and save it on my local desktop as, let us say, I will call it POWSDL, save. So, now what I will do is I will go and open this WSDL in Internet Explorer and find out the XML structure of web service, whether it has a job ID field or not. As you can see, the job ID field is there as an element name, which means the web service query is now enhanced and extended with the extension parameter. With this, we come to the end of this unit and week 3, where we discussed business configuration and extensibility aspects of the solution. Before we end, a quick recap on what we learned in this unit. This unit would have provided you a fair idea of process extensions and scenarios that exist in business by design. We explored some extension scenarios by passing a field from one business object to another and enhancing the web service with the extension field. I hope you enjoyed learning during this week and wish you all the best for your assignments for this week. I shall see you in the next week. Till then, bye and take care.